and incorporated into the bill. Order 173 further provides and make available the amended bill to members before the third reading of the bill. Order 171 provides a further safeguard by permitting a member immediately before third reading to move that the bill passes through a second consideration, either wholly or in respect of a particular part or parts of the bill, or some proposed new clause or new schedule. Order 172 sub Order 1 also states that, and I quote, where a bill has passed through the consideration stage, the third reading shall not be taken until at least one sitting day has elapsed, unquote. Honorable members, while the House possesses the power under Order 3 to suspend any standing order with the leave of the House, it did not do so this time. The purpose underlying Orders 170, 171, and 172 is clear. These provisions exist to ensure that members are afforded a meaningful opportunity to know with certainty the exact text of a bill upon which they are called to take a final legislative decision, and to permit adequate reflection before the House finally commits itself to a legislative position. In the aftermath of the proceedings of the House on Friday, concerns have been raised as to whether the final text of the bill, incorporating all amendments agreed to during the consideration stage, was available to members in a manner that enabled them to fully appreciate the exact form of the final bill before the third reading and ultimate passage into law. I have also taken note of concerns expressed by some honorable members that amendments adopted during the consideration stage did not reflect the position taken by the committee, as stated in the conclusion of the committee's report, to which, and I quote, the committee, having carefully considered the bill, unanimously recommends, unquote, its passage to the House. Unanimously recommends its passage to the House. Neither did the proceedings of that day convey the unanimity nor bipartisan understanding upon which the bill was initially promoted and deliberated upon. Whether or not these concerns raised on the floor and the public discourse are ultimately justified is not for the Speaker to determine. There are, however, concerns that go to the heart of parliamentary consensus and the confidence of the people and members in the legislative process. Honorable members, the Human Sexual Rights and Family Values Bill 2025 and its implications on the LGBTQ+ issue is a global concern. Therefore, the eye of the world is upon this Parliament, the Parliament of Ghana. What we do here must be able to withstand any legal and constitutional challenges that are sure to come. The bill has from its inception been presented to the nation as a bipartisan legislative initiative. Such bipartisan cooperation represents Parliament at its finest. Demonstrate to the people of Ghana that notwithstanding political differences, members of Parliament are capable of uniting around matters which they consider to be of national importance. It is therefore my considered view that a legislation of this magnitude ought, as far as practicable, to command not merely the numerical support of a majority of members, but also the broad confidence of the House regarding both its substance, and the process by which it was adopted. What is right must be done rightly. Honorable members, I call on Parliament to rely on the provisions of motions and the conventions of this House to go back to this historic and important bill and reconsider it in the way that is truly bipartisan to conform with the convictions and confidence of our people, the initiators of the bill. For the avoidance of doubt, my concern is that legislation of such profound national importance should proceed on a foundation of broad parliamentary support, bipartisan cooperation, and scrupulous adherence to the procedures established by the Constitution and the standing orders of Parliament. The legitimacy, credibility, and enduring authority of any law depend not only on the objectives sought to be achieved, but also in the integrity of the process by which the law is enacted. Procedural law is as equally important as substantive law. Honorable members, converse and go out and on TV and radio, misinform Ghanaians again. I'm taking note of all that. That's why I initially said, read the standing orders on when the Speaker is making a statement. You listen to the Speaker in silence. You don't form groups and be making conversations. Clerk, be gone. Indeed, this statement is consistent with my obligation under Order 24B of the Standing Orders to promote consensus on matters under consideration in the House. It is with this conviction that I invite honorable members to reflect on whether further consideration of this matter may better secure the confidence, unity, collective ownership of the bill, and respect of our faith, laws, and passion of the nation. Accordingly, I respectfully appeal to honorable members to reflect carefully upon the issues raised and to consider in the larger national interests the bipartisan character of the bill, the unity of the House and the nation, and the need to maintain the highest standards of procedural integrity to revisit its decision on the third reading of the bill to permit a reconsideration of the final text of the bill and any amendments thereto. Such a course, if adopted by the House, would not be an abandonment of the bill, nor a rejection of its objectives. Rather, it will represent a reaffirmation of Parliament's commitment to due process, fidelity to the Constitution, consensus building, transparency, and legislative certainty. It will ensure that any final decision taken by the House reflects not only the will of Parliament, but also the fullest support of Ghanaians in the law that is ultimately enacted. Honorable members, I remain confident that honorable members will approach this matter with wisdom, patriotism, mutual respect, and a shared commitment to the integrity of our parliamentary democracy and the dignity of this House. With this, I thank you for your attention. Honorable members, we now move to item 4. This is a formal communication, so there are no comments. I've just been handed over a message, and that message is from His Excellency the President. It was dated 28th May 2026. It reads, Right Honorable Speaker, absence from Ghana. In accordance with Article 59 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana, I write to formally notify you of my intention to travel outside the country on Friday, 29th May 2026, to participate in the Ghana Investment Summit and 12th Africa debate scheduled to take place in London from 31st May to 3rd June 2026. Following this engagement, I'll depart London on 5th June 2026 for Minsk, Belarus, for an official state visit at the invitation of His Excellency Alexander Lukashenko, President of the Republic of Belarus, from 5th to 9th June 2026. I'll return to Ghana on 9th June 2026. In my absence, the Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku Agyemang, shall perform my duties in accordance with Article 68 of the Constitution. Signed, John Dramani Mahama. May we now take correction of votes and proceedings and official reports. Honorable members, we'll start with the votes and proceedings. Honorable members, we'll start with the votes and proceedings of Monday, 1st June 2026, page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, Page 5. Page 6. Page 7. Page 8. Honourable members, in the absence of any corrections, the votes and proceedings of a sixth sitting dated Monday, 1st June 2026 is adopted as a true record of proceedings. I have copies of 2 official reports dated Friday, 2nd May 2026 and Tuesday, 26th May 2026. Honourable members, any corrections? Honourable members, in the absence of any corrections, the official reports of Friday, 22nd May 2026 and Tuesday, 26th May 2026 are hereby adopted as the true records of proceedings. I will now acknowledge the presence of our guests at the public gallery. We have, as usual, a number of people who have decided to honor us with their presence. The first is from the Ajumako Enyan Esiem constituency. It's a delegation of 53 members, led by Mr. Benjamin Aban, an accountant by profession. 53 members, you may please rise to be recognized. Honorable members, on your behalf, I welcome the members from Ajumako Enyam Esiem, particularly from Berin Al-Gabi School. You are welcome. This is your house, and anytime our doors are opened for you to come, learn, and share your knowledge with us and get the experience of what happens here. More importantly, to observe your representatives and how they function in the House to represent your interests. So you may resume your seats. We also have 73-member delegation from Kpung, Katamanso, led by the head of the Science Department from the Ebenezer Hill 2 Basic School. The headmaster is by name Mr. Dixon Titriku. There are 73 in number. Once again, on your behalf, I welcome them too. And the same goes to the delegation, as I've just stated, in connection with the delegation from Ajumako Enyam SCM constituency. So please kindly resume your seat. We also have 49 visitors from Ningo Pram Central University Law School Union. They are led by their General Secretary by the name Justice Chire. Please, on behalf of Parliament, you are also warmly welcome. Law students, you are very relevant to what we do here. And this is part of the lawmaking and part of the profession in which you are aspiring to join. So anytime you are welcome as individuals, not just as a group, to observe what is taking place here. Please, you may kindly resume your seat. The last group is made up of 2 members from Trinidad and Tobago. They are visitors to our country, and they come from as you know, Trinidad and Tobago is in the Caribbean. They are visitors, so they are not led. And there are only 2. And you can see them straight ahead of me. More importantly, they are ladies. The gender is not balanced, but we can't blame them because they are visitors. So you have Elizabeth Gabriel and Kemba Brooks. They are our August visitors today. On behalf of the House of Parliament, I warmly welcome you to the House and also to Ghana. And thank you for taking all the trouble, the time, the resources to visit us. And I hope that will not be the first and last. You keep on coming, and who knows, you may end up settling here. You are warmly welcome. You may resume your seats. We now take item 6. Honorable members, my attention is drawn to the fact that I have to receive some of the August visitors coming to join us in the conference tomorrow. And my colleagues, speakers coming from various countries, will have to be received by me. That is the courtesy, the protocols involved in this matter. They've been doing the same to me when I visit them. So, with your kind permission, I will call on the First Deputy Speaker to take the chair. There are a few things that he has to do with you, particularly taking questions and laying some papers, if any. Honorable members, please, you can see that my mood today is not as usual. I expect us to take our business more seriously than we've been doing. That's why you may not find my smiles again these few days, because we have to inject strict discipline, even if it means that you refer to me as a dictator. Sometimes it's very good to dictate. Please, we should take our business more seriously than we are doing because of its impact on the lives of the people we represent. The same should be extended to my deputy speakers. They represent me when I'm unable to take the chair. Don't take it as a joke. So please, First Deputy Speaker, take the chair.
Yes, Majority Leader, any indication?
You know I can never be sad, so don't be worried about me. Be worried about other people. Mr. Speaker, we have some questions scheduled for this afternoon. Unfortunately, the ministers wrote to the House communicating to us their inability to come and answer those questions. In essence, they are absent, and so we can go to presentation of papers after commencing public business. I have a paper to lay, and the chairman of the Roads and Transport Committee also has a paper to lay, after which we can commence commentary on the statement made by the Minister for Finance. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Majority Leader, I don't think it's enough to say that the minister responsible for communication is not available, or he communicated to Parliament. His deputy was here. This morning, the Deputy Minister for Communication, he was in the chamber. Why can't he tackle the question? Why can't he answer the questions on behalf of his minister? And these questions are more than 1 year now. These questions that is scheduled for today, they are more than 1 year now, Majority Leader. Yesterday, we sat. We could not, and the reason was because of the backlog of questions. But the minister too was unavailable, and we could not tackle that. And today, the minister who was a deputy, the deputy was in the chamber, and we are saying that the minister wrote to Parliament that he is unable to answer the questions. Mr. Speaker, and where is the letter, Majority Leader? Where is the letter? Where is the letter that the minister wrote? And Mr. Speaker, when we continue rescheduling some of these questions, it loses relevance. Some of the questions are urgent in nature. Some of the questions are to address pertinent matters. But these questions, those, especially the first 3 questions, filed by Honorable the Member of Parliament for Panda, it's over 1 year now since he filed that question, and we continue to reschedule. Majority Leader, the explanation your ministers are giving is enough. It's not enough, and they are giving us a lot of pressure from our members, those who are asking the questions. And now, if this one is rescheduled, yesterday one was rescheduled, so when? And we are aware that the whole of this week, Parliament might not sit until next week, Tuesday. So when? And we'll be adjourning when we expect the media budget. So, Mr. Speaker, this is not enough. And I think that the Deputy Minister is here. The Deputy Minister should come and respond to the question because he's here. And I think he's capable. Unless it is the case that you are saying the Deputy Minister is not capable to respond to those questions, then we will say that then we have a Deputy Minister who cannot respond to questions. I thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker.
Yes,
I mean, ministers can write to this House to request for their questions and the timing to be rescheduled. And the Chief Director of the ministry did write to the Clerk of Parliament, I think dated 29th of May, indicating the unavailability of the minister to answer the question. For us, if a deputy minister is authorized by the minister to come and answer, we will be glad to have that happen. But if the minister directs that he is unavailable and wants to be here to answer the questions himself, I don't believe there's anything that we can do about it. The situation that we have is that the ministers have obligations here and they have obligations out of the jurisdiction. And we cannot say that when they are called upon to perform an international assignment, we should say because they have a question to answer to this House, they cannot go and perform that international assignment. Indeed, representing us at those international platforms enable the country to benefit from resources that the various international bodies tend to disburse to countries. And so it is important to be at the meetings, and then we will I don't want to say certain things, because if I said certain things, you will discover that it is absolutely not the fault of the minister that he is unable to come and answer the questions. In fact, and let me say it then, because the letter from the Chief Director says that Parliament communicated the questions to them the day before, after the minister had already scheduled his international travel. So if Parliament communicated to the minister a day before to appear today or even today, and then the minister says, no, I'm unable to come, how is the minister at fault in this matter? So let's be careful some of the things that we say about ministers. Our own institutional challenges sometimes account for ministers being unable to come as requested. But this minister we know is always here answering his questions. That's the Minister for Health. And so I don't think that we need to be worried. He will come back, and I know him. When he returns, he will immediately make himself available to the House to answer the questions. But I take note of your concerns that we should get ministers who have deputies to try as much as possible, if they are unable to come, to delegate their deputies to come to this House and answer those questions so that we can deal with the backlog of questions that we have. But I want to assure you that in spite of the unforeseen events that threaten us being able to meet our agenda this meeting, we will find ways of making sure that every question that is asked is answered by the relevant ministers. So, Mr. Speaker, I plead with our colleagues that let's move to the commencement of public business, vary the order of business, and then lay the various papers and engage in the commentary that we agreed on to start today.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just want to draw my majority leader attention to something. Today's question is for the minister responsible for communication, digital technology and innovation. Parliament is a house of records. The minister was on his feet here, and he said he had appeared before Parliament to answer questions. And if he doesn't answer those questions that day, he will never appear here to answer that. The minister is on record in Parliament saying that. Now the questions are rescheduled. He is not here today. And Majority Leader, you want us to take your word that he will be here, because the minister was on his feet here. And he said, if I don't answer those questions today, I'm sorry, I might not appear to answer the questions again. That was what the minister told us on the floor of Parliament. The minister, yes, the communication minister said that on the floor of Parliament, that he had appeared to answer those questions, and that the Parliament was so busy to the extent that he could not answer those questions. And if he does not answer those questions that day, he cannot appear here to answer the questions again. That was what he said. And today he is not here. So, Majority Leader, you should give us a definite date that the minister will be appearing to answer the question. And Majority Leader, as the leader of government business and the chairman of the business committee, you told us in this house that to schedule questions, you wanted to reach out to the various ministers to get their availability before you schedule the questions. That was what you told us, Majority Leader. So it cannot be the case that it is a communication lapses from the clerk at table to the ministry, because that was your word, that you will contact ministers, get their availability before it's scheduled. So, Mr. Speaker, continue scheduling. When we heard the minister on his feet telling us that day, if he doesn't appear to answer those questions, it will be difficult, we are at loss. So, Majority Leader, we don't have a problem varying the order of business, but he should tell us when will the minister come and answer those questions. Then we'll be able to know.
Yes, Majority Chief Whip.
Speaker, humbly, we are in leadership. And some of these things, it goes to the integrity of this house. The ministry has communicated formally to this house, pleading that the minister who is supposed to appear today and answer the questions is unavoidably absent, because the questions were referred to him the day before, when he had already departed. So it should be rescheduled. It's contained in the letter. And that's for the records. And yet my brother is referencing a matter that was said, perhaps not even for the records. Me, I was here, I didn't hear the minister say so, but you are speaking to the records. It means that you are saying, you are alleging that the minister is saying that he will come back, which cannot be. Because the man, the ministry, please, the ministry has today sent a letter saying that reschedule me, I will come. Even if it so happened, does the letter not override what you are alleging him to have said? So please, it's not necessary. I think the most important thing is that we want to make progress and get the minister to be brought back to answer. But in the meantime, we have other businesses to do. But litigating this matter won't help us.
Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker. I have looked at the questions that are scheduled for today, and they are all questions scheduled for the Minister for Health, and then one, the Minister for Health. So what I have, yesterday, sir.
By item numbered 6, all questions are for the minister responsible for communication, digital technology,
but the letter
and
is
innovation.
from the ministry. The letter is from the Ministry of Communication, explaining that the letter came just a day before, and therefore the minister is unable to come and then answer the question. As for what the minister is alleged to have said or not said, I want to assure him that I recall that day when the minister came and sat through the entire day, and then ultimately were not able to ask the questions. He was upset. He was upset that, you know, he had come based on our request, and we were not asking him the questions and etc. But we managed the situation, and then we pleaded with him that we couldn't ask the question that day. So we rescheduled the question. I believe that in rescheduling the question, we should have given a reasonable notice. But the letter from the ministry is saying that they just got notice a day before, by which time the minister was unavailable to come and then answer the questions. But I don't know if, as you indicated, that there is a deputy minister who was in this chamber. I didn't see the deputy minister. But in any case, I mean, if the minister wants to come and answer the question himself, we cannot deny him that right. So again, let's make progress, and then let's move to item number 8, and then lay the various papers and return to statements and start the commentary on the statement made by the Minister for Finance.
Yes, honorable members. Honorable Habib asks, where is the letter? Under the letter, the whips have been copied. But in the event he doesn't have a copy, I will ask the clerk at table to furnish him with a copy of the letter. There's an indication that the whips have been copied, the majority and the minority. So this is a copy of the letter. I admit questions. I do not also think that these questions have been admitted in excess of 1 year. This is a house of record. If I proceed to ask question number 690, what is the date of admission of that question? We'll be running into difficulty. So, honorable members, let's speak. And our information that we are placing on record should be factually correct. So the question in favor of Matthew Nindam, the date he himself filed the question was 3rd November 2025, and 3rd November 2025, and we are now in June, clearly cannot be in excess of over 1 year. Honourable members, this is a house of record. Honourable members, 8 months and 9 months are not one and the same. They cannot be the same. So, honourable members, the application is to vary the order of business and do presentation of papers at commencement of business. I have not heard any opposition to the application. So, honourable members, at commencement of public business, presentation of papers. Item numbered 8, 1 and 2. Majority Leader.
Report on the participation of the Parliament of Ghana in the 152nd Interparliamentary Union Assembly. Performance Audit Report of the Auditor General on implementation of inmate support program by the Ghana Prison Service.
Honourable members, the report in item numbered 8A, 1 and 2 have been duly presented and they are for distribution to honourable members. Yes, item numbered B.
Mr. Speaker, the Minister who is acting as Minister for Environment, Science and Technology is here, so he will lay item number 8B. And yes, 8B first.
Honourable members, the item numbered 8AII is rather referred to the Public Accounts Committee for consideration and reports. And then I is for distribution to honourable members. Yes, there is an application. Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, we have the acting minister here, but I don't know whether he can bow from where he is seated. He's a member of parliament. He should go and take his seat and take the bow, proper bow. So rather than that, we don't have a problem. He can go to his seat, but he can't bow from that seat.
Yes, Honourable Minister for Lands and Natural Resources.
Framework Agreement for Cooperation on Climate Change between the Government of the Republic of Ghana and the Government of the Republic of Korea.
Honourable members, report numbered item 8B has been duly presented. It is referred to the Committee on Environment, Science and Technology for consideration and reports. Item numbered C. C.
Mr. Speaker, the chairman of the Roads and Transport Committee is not here, so ask for leave for a member of the committee, Hajia Ladi Ayamba, to lay the report on behalf of the chairperson. But the ranking, I'm told, is also in the chamber.
Ranking is there.
Ranking is there. If you are minded and you want to lay it, otherwise, Hajia will lay the report on behalf of your chairperson.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it's right that the ranking is here, an experienced ranking member who has been a chairman before. My indication is that the committee haven't met on this, so this report cannot be laid. No, they haven't actually met. The committee haven't met on this matter, so a report is not even available, so it cannot be laid at the moment, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, members of the committee, is that the case?
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, as at 2 weeks ago, I learned that they hadn't met, but I called the chairman and urged him to convene a committee meeting and expeditiously consider the bill. So I will not be surprised if they still have not met, and therefore the report is not ready. So, Mr. Speaker, we can go back to 7 and then commence the commentary on the statement made by the Minister for Finance.
Honourable members, item numbered 7. Comment on the statement made by the Minister responsible for Finance, Dr. Kesiel Atoba Forson. Statement on Ghana's new engagement with the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the progress made by the government in restoring macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability made on Thursday, 28 May 2026. Honourable members, I'll proceed to give the floor to Honourable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. Timekeepers, are you ready? It is 5 minutes. Timekeepers. Yes. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I think the practice has been the majority side starting. So if they can start, that has been the practice.
Honourable members, we are doing so because the statement is emanating from this side. And normally, when a statement is made by this side, I take contribution from this side. If it is from this side, I take contribution from this side.
Mr. Speaker, so they should start commenting on their statement first, and then before we also come in. Adongo is ready. Adongo is ready to start. So, Mr. Speaker,
Honourable
they should
Habib,
start.
I have explained the circumstances based on which I am giving the floor to Kojo Oppong Nkrumah. You have the floor. You are speaking for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to make some comments on the statement delivered by the Minister responsible for Finance to this Honourable House. Mr. Speaker, I want to start with a preliminary comment that there's a convention in this House that when statements are being made, courtesy copies are made to the opposing side of the House so that we are well prepared to respond. On this occasion, we on this side did not get a courtesy copy, and it limits our ability to comment in real time. As at now, the minister's comments have gone into the public domain for days without an opportunity of a response. And I think this is a habit that we should desist from and resort to the traditional conventions that we work with. Mr. Speaker, in the minister's statement, there was a lot of spin claiming that Ghana has exited, quote unquote, the IMF. And in that same statement, he makes a further comment that we are now going for what he calls a policy coordination instrument. As my colleagues and I will demonstrate in our submissions this afternoon, Ghana has not exited the IMF. We are members of the IMF. We went for an extended credit facility program. That program has been fully conducted. It has led to the stability that was the objective, and that program has come to an end. And the government has now signed, or is in the process of signing, another program, which is the PCI, and the government should be candid and let the Ghanaian people know so. Mr. Speaker, I want to speak on just about two key things. First, the argument of stability. And as you follow the conversations on social media and in the public domain post the minister's statement, there are a lot of questions that the everyday Ghanaian is asking. That what is in it for me at the end of the day? And for many people, there are two key things they are looking for. They are looking for jobs, and they are looking for the effect of the so-called stability in their lives. That is an improvement in the cost of living. Mr. Speaker, I just want to share with the House the real data that the Ghanaian people are focusing on, even as at now. And I'm taking it from the Ghana Statistical Service Quarterly Labor Force Survey, Q3 2025. It says, and Mr. Speaker, I quote, in December 2024, the unemployment rate for young Ghanaians aged 15 to 24 stood at 32%. By the third quarter of 2025, that figure has risen to 32.5%, Mr. Speaker. In the Greater Accra region alone, youth unemployment as at Q3 2025 is now at 49.3%. What it means is that, on the average, 1 out of every 2 young people that you meet on the streets of the Greater Accra region is unemployed. Mr. Speaker, the Ghana Statistical Service is saying that 7 out of every 10 unemployed Ghanaians are under the age of 35. 7 out of every 10. And so for many people out there, the question they're asking is, so the stability that has been achieved as a result of this IMF ECF signed in 2023, how is it bearing fruit in their life? And the data is that despite all the programs that the government on its own rolled out, the situation is getting worse. Mr. Speaker, on the matter of cost of living, The minister headlined the headline inflation rate, about 3.4%. When you double click and go into the details, Mr. Speaker, services inflation is going up. Rent is going up. Electricity is gone up. The basic things that the average Ghanaian is spending money on, which are structural, their costs are going up. And so the Ghanaian is asking the same question that, so this so-called stability, how is it impacting their lives at the end of the day? My final point, Mr. Speaker, in these 5 minutes that you have given me. The minister and the government spend a lot of time talking about the taxes that they have abolished. But we have been here in this chamber when they have brought about 8 other taxes and caused this House to pass. And despite the passing of these 8 other new taxes, they have still not been able to meet the revenue to GDP target which this government promised us. It is a reason for which they are not able to meet their expenditure commitments and, as a result, claim that they have been fiscally disciplined. And so, Mr. Speaker, for us on this side of the House, we hear the minister when it comes to rattle the numbers here. But as we keep saying, the numbers that the Ghanaian people are watching in their day-to-day lives are actually getting worse. Youth unemployment in Greater Accra is now 49%. And youth unemployment across the country is worse than this government inherited it at the beginning of it. The Ghana Statistical Service Quarterly Labor Force Survey Q3 2025. I've just read it to you. Maybe you are not listening. I've just read it to you. Those are the numbers that people are looking at. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity.
I'll proceed to give the floor to Honorable Isaac Adongo. You have the floor. You are speaking for 5 minutes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I just want to make things very clear. The minister did not say Ghana has exited the IMF. We have exited the IMF ECF program. We have exited the program, not the IMF. We cannot exit the IMF because we are members of IMF, please. The second point I want to make is that when you are looking at inflation, you don't pick items within the bucket. It's a basket of goods and services, and you are looking at the average of all of them. So it doesn't mean that certain items will not show changes. But then it simply means that when you consider generally, prices are stable. And that is the point we need to make. Mr. Speaker, my colleague says that we introduced 8 other taxes without mentioning them. I am not surprised. Only recently they said that there was a certain e-levy that was roaming around at the Bank of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, I have in my hands a letter that was signed by the Bank of Ghana to MTN, dated January 31st, 2024. NDC was not in power in 2024. January. And in that letter, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, at the Bank of Ghana of the MPP, wrote to MTN, giving them no objection to impose the following fees. 1, introduction of a fee of 1% for cash out transactions below 2,000 Ghana cedis. 2, introduction of a 0.75% fee capped at 55 cedis for all transactions related to mobile money wallet transfer to banks. Mr. Speaker, so the transfer from wallet to bank was approved by the descendants of Dr. Bawumia. Mr. Speaker, this is very appalling that this is the kind of leadership you are providing this country. That the leader of this house, in the minority, does not know that levies are imposed by this house. And they are not imposed by a certain letter by a certain organization. And that he sat here, we never brought any e-levy to this house. In fact, we abolished it. We have not come here with e-levy. And somehow he sees a letter somewhere and impugn that this house has brought back e-levy. Mr. Speaker, the people of Ghana has already shown them that their credibility is the reason they voted them and put them where they are. And for them to go around lying to the people of Ghana that somehow or another some 0.75 e-levy has metamorphosed into this country from the Bank of Ghana. The letter is here. And I'm willing to table this letter so that you will now know that they are the people who impose double e-levy. They imposed e-levy in this house, went to Bank of Ghana, imposed 2 e-levies, and they are now turning around to say that we have imposed. They imposed e-levy in this house, went to Bank of Ghana and imposed another 2 e-levies, one for cash out and one for wallet to bank transactions. Mr. Speaker, and these are the people who went and held press conference. Mr. Speaker, I want them to hold another press conference when we are done to apologize to the people of Ghana, because deception and falsehood has no place in our governance. And the people of Ghana are watching you. Go out and do needful and tell them that you got it wrong, there was no such e-levy, and that you manufactured an e-levy that doesn't exist. But Mr. Speaker, whether we like it or not, the economy is far better than we inherited it. Mr. Speaker, he wants to know what is in it for us. What is in it for the people of Ghana is that they no longer buy a dollar at 15, 17 cedis. That is what is in it for them. He wants to know what is in it for him. What is in it is that they are no longer buy a bag of maize for 1,000, but 300 cedis. That is what is in it for them. But also what is in it for them is the fact that the whole country has been turned into a construction site. And we are developing this country in a manner that has not been witnessed since the days of Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And that is what it is in it for us. And at the end of the day, Mr. Speaker, the people of Ghana have seen the difference. Ghana for us, we know which one is heavy. And the people will continue to keep them where they belong, because they messed out our lives and we are beginning to take our lives back. Ghana is back and the economy is back, and we are not going back. As the minister said, Ghana will not go back to IMF after this terrible experience that we have had since 2022. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, it's now the turn of Amin Adams.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, 2 quick rebuttals. I am very surprised that the majority side doesn't know that new taxes were introduced in this House. And I'd like to just mention some of them. The popular Dumsor levy, the E-levy. The D-levy, when was it introduced? The Dumsor levy. Ampim, you brought the D-levy, Dumsor levy. When was it introduced? Mr. Speaker, the growth and sustainability levy. It was supposed to have ended. You renewed it. You extended the sunset clause. The special import levy. It was supposed to have ended last year. You extended the sunset clause. So if you don't know that, you have brought 15% VAT on non-life insurance. I'm telling you that you have introduced new taxes. And so I was surprised the minister mentioned some taxes as nuisance taxes, which you abolished, but failed to mention the new taxes that you people introduced. Mr. Speaker, in fact, they collected 20 billion Ghana cedis from Ghanaians as a result of increases in fees and charges. They don't know that. You forgot when you brought the fees and charges bill for this House to approve for you to increase fees and charges, as a result of which you collected 20 billion Ghana cedis from Ghanaians. So if you don't know, let me remind you that you brought new taxes, and the minister should have been candid enough to mention them. Mr. Speaker, about the e-levy, Honorable Adongo is saying that the governor during our time gave no objection. But why was it not implemented at the time until President Mahama became the president of Ghana? Why was it not implemented at the time until President Mahama became the president of this country? So you should be candid. You should tell the Ghanaian people the truth, that you were trying to steal the e-levy back because revenue is suffering. Mr. Speaker, in the minister's statement, he mentioned that the program under us drilled. And I want to inform them that the use of the word drill is inappropriate, is incorrect. If you go to page 74 of the IMF fourth review document, the IMF put out the performance measures by which they pass an IMF approval. The performance criteria has 6 targets
by the end of 2024, all the targets were met. All the targets were met. Page 74. Then you come to indicative targets.
Read it.
Indicative targets. 4 targets. 3 were met. Only 1 was not met. This is not a program that is drilled. And if you go to the IMF lexicon of program drillment, the IMF will tell you that it is only when you miss a target under the performance criteria that the program is drilled, because then you will have to ask for a waiver before you can pass the review. This government, they don't know what drillment means.
Teach them.
If it is about the fiscal outturn, everybody knew that. You did politics.
Yes.
You brought your voodoo arrears in order to change the narrative about the fiscal outturn. And you have no monopoly over that. At the right time, you will eat the food that you cook.
Yes.
You have no monopoly over data manipulation to change the narrative about the performance of the economy. Mr. Speaker, the reason this government opted for the PCI is that, number one, the PCI is more about reforms. And that is why they are not going to give you money. And these reforms are conditionalities that you will have to meet. I am surprised that this government will accept conditionalities without any money coming from the IMF. One of the targets you were supposed to meet in respect of the implementation of the structural benchmarks, you failed. We had brought a 70% implementation status, just like our peers. Kenya, 71%. Zambia, 72%. You guys, by the time you exited IMF, you have brought it to 55%. That is the reason the IMF forced you to accept the PCI. Because you did not implement the structural reforms. Mr. Speaker, they were supposed to achieve a target as far as revenue to GDP is concerned of 18%. They have brought it down to 13%. They failed. Mr. Speaker, stability. When we talk about stability, it is supposed to achieve certain purposes. One of the purposes it's supposed to achieve is to bring down cost of borrowing. Even with an inflation of 23%.
Honourable members, it's now the turn of Minister responsible for Education, Honourable Haruna Idrisu. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, let me... Mr. Speaker,
Honourable Minister for Education, hold it. Honourable members, let us all look at Standing Order 91-4. The head note is statement by the Speaker and Minister. And this is a statement by a minister. And the 4 says, a member commenting on the statement shall not take more than 5 minutes, except otherwise permitted by the Speaker. So I'm only applying the rules without any exception. So please, Honorable Asafo-Adjei, kindly comport yourself. Honorable Minister responsible for Education, you have the floor.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Minister for Finance, the Honorable Atu Forson, undoubtedly have a strategic approach to Ghana's economic growth and recovery. And that is exactly what has been achieved in the last 1.5 years. And Mr. Speaker, let anybody challenge me and challenge this House that Ghana has not achieved economic stability under Minister Atu Forson. Let anybody, including the IMF, that Ghana has achieved stability. Inflation, which was hovering 54 to 23% between 2022 and 2023, is 3.8%. Fact. GDP growth was around 5.7%. Today, 6.2%. Fact. External reserves have increased from 4 billion to 10 billion to 14 billion US dollars. Fact. Under the minister's approach. Then those of them, Mr. Speaker, who are economists, How can an economy respond to addressing unemployment when that economy has not been stabilized? Today, external reserve, I gave 2 different years. I'm reading the IMF report. There was 4 billion before you came to 10 billion, and at 2000 I've taken it to 14 billion US dollars of external reserves. So, Mr. Speaker, recovery first, and at least the Honorable Atuforson, supported by President Mohammed's research, is beginning what we call import substitution. That's why Akukon Nkiti, 24-hour economy, accelerated export development program are all being rolled out. Inherent in the implementation of some of this will be the key question of addressing Ghana's unemployment. Then, Mr. Speaker, I heard the Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah talk about Ghana's revenue as a percentage of GDP. Go and read the budget of 2018, 2019, 2022. The Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta promised 18% of GDP as a percentage of revenue. That was never achieved. But I agree that it can be an aspiration that we can work towards. Then, Mr. Speaker, we had them talk about Bank of Ghana losses. Yes, reported Bank of Ghana losses, real and material. But at least, Mr. Speaker, show me a central bank with a balance sheet worth it when the balance sheet doesn't contribute to managing economic distress of that country. Show me any central bank of the world. So we can aspire to have a stable economy without necessarily accumulating losses. That can be an aspiration. But at least, Mr. Speaker, fact again is that during the tenure of the previous government, the Bank of Ghana made significant losses between 2022, 2023, and 2024. You can talk about the numbers. In some year, 9 billion. Now they are talking about 15.6 billion. In another year alone, it was close to 60 billion. But I agree that aspirational, Ghana must have a Bank of Ghana which is independent enough to contribute to economic stability without necessarily occasioning losses. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm happy to note that Cabinet, under the guidance of the Minister for Finance, have taken a decision that to manage the risks, gold board losses will sit on gold board account, then the Bank of Ghana will play its rightful place. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity to contribute to it. I agree that beyond stability, the economy must begin to respond to addressing the key question of unemployment. But the Honorable Kojo Oppong Nkrumah, 3.5% of unemployment from 3.2%. Yes, there's growing unemployment. We could not, for instance, the cocoa sector, Mr. Speaker, heavily indebted. So this government, take money and go and buy cocoa to this, you couldn't do it. Just take money and go and buy cocoa, you couldn't do it. And then you collapse the cocoa board into economic distress with over-indebtedness and inefficiency. That is what we are trying to do. Mr. Speaker, imagine that cocoa board today is in distress. How could that happen? How could that happen if not mismanagement? So, Mr. Speaker, I think that the Honorable Minister Forson is on course. Then finally, Minister Atuforson, when Kojo Oppong is talking about exiting, what the Honorable Finance Minister has done.
I'll proceed to give the floor to Honorable Abu Jinapor. You have 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. And Mr. Speaker, let me say very straightforward that if the Minister for Finance and the Ministry of Finance wants to know how the national economy is being managed and how the economy is doing, Mr. Speaker, they shouldn't go far. They should just talk to their colleague ministers in cabinet. And if they were in doubt, they should talk to their backbenchers in this house on the majority side. Mr. Speaker, if they spoke to their colleague ministers in cabinet, they will find that ministries are struggling today because the Ministry of Finance is not funding ministries to be able to discharge their mandate, particularly the Ministry of Education. They should compare the funding President Akufo-Addo gave to the Ministry of Education to the funding that is being given to the Ministry of Education today. Mr. Speaker, it's trite, it's fact that as a result of COVID, GDP growth in the United Kingdom fell by 3.5%, in Canada by 5%, in Germany by 5%. Mr. Speaker, and then indeed, at the time the Akufo-Addo administration was leaving, inflation was on a downward trend. Mr. Speaker, growth was surging. The economy was indeed recovering as a result of the post-COVID-19 economic recovery plan and program the Akufo-Addo administration implemented. Mr. Speaker, but as we say, we've heard enough of the complaints, we've heard enough of we inherited this, we inherited that. It is 18 months into your administration. If you say the economy is not good, fix it. Mr. Speaker, and fixing it means what? Fixing it means, Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, growth of the agricultural sector, the Akufo-Addo government handed over to the Mahama administration, January 2025, Mr. Speaker, was 9.3%. Mr. Speaker, as we speak today, growth of agriculture has dipped at 4.5%. And agriculture is the backbone of our economy. Mr. Speaker, industry, the Akufo-Addo administration, January 2025, handed over, Mr. Speaker, an industry growth of 9.7%. Today is 7.2%. Ministry of Finance, the statistics are clear. Agric is not doing well. Industry is not doing well. Farm produce are not being bought. Farmers are crying in the north. Farmers are crying in the east. Cocoa farmers are crying in the south. Mr. Speaker, Ghana Statistical Service, indeed, working with a company called Agri-Food Security Monitor Report, has reported, Mr. Speaker, that in 2026 February, grains have not been bought across the country. And government disbursement, so-called disbursement of 200 million Ghana cedis. Mr. Speaker, this parliament approved it. The money has not been disbursed. Mr. Speaker, the Minister of Finance Council tell us this is doing well, that is doing well. And yet on the streets of Ghana, in the ministries, departments and agencies of our government machinery, the Minister for Finance and the Ministry of Finance is being classified as a minister who will not pay. Minister, I will not pay. Minister for Education wants to recruit teachers. I won't pay. He wants to recruit nurses. Minister for Health, I won't pay. Mr. Speaker, indeed, an economy does well when it generates jobs. And this government's flagship program, the 24-hour economy, Formula 133, where they committed to ensure that we have a 24-hour economy, to grow this economy and generate jobs for the teeming unemployed youth of our country. Mr. Speaker, the 24-hour economy, Yamutu, is collapsed and unemployment is getting worse. And so, Mr. Speaker, let me conclude and say to the Minister for Finance to his face, he's not here, his deputy is here, that the economy is not doing well as they want us to believe. Mr. Speaker, I'm in Ghana. I'm in Ghana where Ghanaians are paying high electricity bills, where they are paying high water bills, where unemployment is worse, where teachers are not being employed, where nurses are not being employed, where cocoa farmers have taken a haircut, where fuel prices skyrocketing. Mr. Deputy Minister for Finance, get on the street. Get on the street and talk to Ghanaians. You may turn out the data because the data will help with a certain presidential ambition. But on the ground, Mr. Speaker, it is not as well as it is in the Ministry of Finance. We expect the Minister of Finance to have come here to deliver a statement on the 24-hour economy, and he failed. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, honourable members, I will give the floor to Honourable Atta-Issa. Honourable Atta-Issa, you have 5 minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is important to provide a context of the IMF ECF facility in 2022. This IMF program represents the most expensive IMF program ever signed by the Republic of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, despite all sound counsel by stakeholders, the NPP government, knowing fully well that from 2019, Ghana was already headed in a trajectory of debt unsustainability and macroeconomic instability, they disregarded everybody and thought e-levy was the akobam for our economy. Mr. Speaker, Ghana entered the ECF facility in 2022 at the most worst macroeconomic conditions of our country. That is why it resulted into painful decisions to be suffered by Ghanaians. Let me provide the context, Mr. Speaker. Inflation at that time exceeded 50%, that's 54.1%.
exchange rate depreciated over 40%. We lost access to international capital markets. Our sovereign credit was downgraded to junk. Unsustainable public debt hovering around 104% of debt to GDP ratio, and severe fiscal deficit. Mr. Speaker, this was validated by Moody's, S&P, Fitch, and also our stock prices was downgraded by JP Morgan's. Mr. Speaker, as a result of these difficulties, pensioners and other citizens of this country suffered a catastrophic domestic debt exchange program. Banks, pension funds, insurance firms, and individual bondholders all suffered. This was validated also by the IMF, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, in contrast, in 2025, we saw GDP bouncing back to a positive growth of 6% and above. Non-oil GDP at 7.6%. And in fact, Ghana is now in the league of macro stable economic and emerging markets in Africa. Ghana did 6.6% in 2025. South Africa grew at 1.5%. Nigeria grew at 3.2%. Kenya grew at 5%. Rwanda grew at 7%. And Ethiopia grew at 6.5%. And these are the leading nations in terms of stability in Africa. Inflation also declined. Let me not worry you about that. Mr. Speaker, let me now take my attention to the debt to GDP reduction. As a result of the domestic debt exchange program and the prudent management of our fiscals and the exchange rate stability, we reduced the public debt to GDP ratio from 61.8% to 44%, as validated by the IMF in its 5th annual review. Mr. Speaker, if you look at our exchange rate stability, from a depreciation of 40% to appreciation of 19%, and 42% rather, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, an ECF facility, let me provide this information. An ECF facility is not mandatory. That's the first thing. The second thing is also that an ECF facility is only available for countries with stable macroeconomic environment. Ghana couldn't have gotten an ECF facility in 2022. Countries that are currently on an ECF facility in Africa have stable macroeconomic conditions. And it is a non-financing agreement. And the purpose of people have signed onto an IMF program because of policy credibility. We are a member of the IMF, so there is nothing wrong with Ghana approaching an IMF. We should only approach the IMF at our strong bargaining chip. And that is what Dr. Atufosin is doing under the reset agenda, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the PCI facility, it signals investor confidence. Recently, the EU ambassador to Ghana demonstrated that Ghana is the best destination for African trade. In fact, if you also go and look at what the IMF said, and let me quote what the IMF said, Ghana does no longer need emergency financing, but still value IMF discipline and credibility. Currently, we are in position to service our debt. We are not declaring debt default as done by the MPP in 2024. What the PCI does for Ghana is that we are not going to return to excessive borrowing as we saw under MPP. We are not going to see another weak financial management and fiscal distress. We are not going to see quasi-fiscal losses as done by SOEs like Cocoa Board, and we are not going to see SOE inefficiency. Ghana, like many other countries, let me demonstrate. If you go to Rwanda, they are currently under a PCI, Senegal, Seychelles, Serbia, and Cape Verde. All these people are undergoing a PCI.
Kabiru.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I will want to address some preliminary issues, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, this House is a House of records, and when we say PCI is to signal, or it's a signal of investor confidence, wrong. It is supposed to give policy credibility. And when you are looking for policy credibility, it means that you want to actually get investors to come into to invest in your country. So the two has to be steady and we know them. Mr. Speaker, the second misconception. Mr. Speaker, in this House, we are young. We may not know what has happened in the 1990s, but the records are clear that the worst form of economic records was recorded during the period of PAMSCAT. So when we want to posit the record, we must again stay to the fact. Mr. Speaker,
But the minister, I heard the minister the other day came to this house. The minister came to this house with a statement that I thought the minister would have, at least, with the greatest of respect, Mr. Speaker, present a statement that will give hope post the Extended Credit Facility Program. Mr. Speaker, the minister started by stating some facts. He stated that we went to the IMF in July 2022, Mr. Speaker, and the reason was that there was gross mismanagement of the economy. Mr. Speaker, the minister failed. In fact, the minister willfully defaulted in addressing certain facts. Mr. Speaker, who brought the energy sector mess? It was their government. They negotiated contracts that were pay or take, that left out with huge debts. Who collapsed the banking sector, Mr. Speaker? They collapsed the banking sector. We had to pay over 25 billion to save the banking sector. Mr. Speaker, these people are those who created the mess. The mess resulted in fiscal constraint. We had to cover money to pay this particular debt and this particular mess. In cleaning the mess, obviously, there's going to be costs. Mr. Speaker, they failed to admit the mess. Mr. Speaker, we will remind them that it was your mess that created the fiscal constraint. It was your mess that ballooned our debt because we had to save the Ghanaian economy. Mr. Speaker, they went ahead to say that this economy has grown by some 100 billion mark, and they proceeded to say that we are the 8th in Africa. Mr. Speaker, what he failed to address, that Ghana had reached the 8th economy in Africa in 2024. It is not in their regime that we achieved that mark. So why do you choose to present the record of 2024 as if they were records in 2025? Mr. Speaker, the record you are talking to, that Ghana is the 8th biggest economy or largest economy in Africa, was attained in 2024. At a time that you thought Akufo-Addo was not doing anything, he grew our economy exponentially and we were able to achieve that record. Mr. Speaker, they proceeded to talk about the fact that in paragraph 25, they mentioned some achievements as the basis for which we should recommend them. For Mr. Speaker, they said that they have concluded the IPP negotiation and that it has saved us from $250 million. Mr. Speaker, who started the IPP negotiation? It was Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo that started it. Give credit to him, and you are only concluding it. And you want us to praise you for concluding something that the previous government had thought through and has started. Mr. Speaker, they are again saying that they have audited arrears, and that is an achievement. Mr. Speaker, in 2018, this NDC MPP government audited arrears, and that is something not new. So, Mr. Speaker, when they come and they are talking about growth, Mr. Speaker, let me remind them that in 2024, they inherited a growth of 5.7% of GDP. The economy was not on its knees when it inherited. The economy was growing at a rate of 5.7% of GDP in 2024. Inflation was not 54 when you took it. Inflation was 23% when you took over. So you cannot be claiming and projecting data that was data of yesterday as if they were data that you inherited. Mr. Speaker, if you want to measure your true size, go to the street, ask the teachers, what is the state of the economy? Ask the nurses, what is the state of the economy? Go to the rural farmers in Passenger, ask them whether or not their rice farms are even getting market. Go to Kantamanto and ask the market women whether or not they are able to feed the economy. These are the factors you need to consider. Don't pat yourself in the back and think that you are doing something significant. Mr. Speaker, if there is any monumental failure of a government in terms of the management of the economy, in terms of the hardship, in terms of the mismatch between the data and the reality, it is this government. For what use will the data make to you when the people are not able to feel it in their pocket? Mr. Speaker, this government is a mess, it's a scam, and we need not to tolerate it. The PCE is bereft of ideas. They have not even stated the conditions, which include conditions. Mr. Speaker, they must come again to this house with a better statement. Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for the statement.
Honorable Ziwera, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity to contribute to the statement made by the Honorable Minister of Finance to this House on Ghana's conclusion of its $3 billion extended credit facility from the IMF. Mr. Speaker, in spite of the IMF Executive Board assessment, which was very favorable to Ghana, the Finance Minister still found it necessary to come and brief this House on progress and what that means for us. Mr. Speaker, speaking from a purely mother, woman, trader, household keeper perspective, Mr. Speaker, the finance minister mentioned the stability of the cedi. And that for us is what it is. For every woman who goes to the market, the stability of the cedi enables us to plan, because women are the budget managers of the household. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, in the run-up to the invasion of Iraq by the USA, there is this story that a friend came looking for his friend in the house and entered the house and met the wife and the children holding pen and paper, discussing school uniforms, school shoes, pepper, milk, onion, garlic, kanwa, and everything. So he asked them, "Where's your father?" He said, "Oh, he's under the tree playing draft." So his friend went there and said, "Hey, you are sitting here. The woman and the children have taken over your role." He said, "Oh, when it comes to budget, it's for women." He thinks about international issues like America invading Iraq. Mr. Speaker, that is the duty, that is the true duty of women. And so for us, anything that stabilizes the economy, that today we can look at a 3.4% inflation, thanks to the prudent fiscal and financial measures that the finance minister and the NDC government have introduced, we will celebrate. Mr. Speaker, this is a stark reality as compared to the 2024 inflation of 22.85%. 2023, 38.11%. Women, we couldn't plan. We couldn't plan the house budget. Today, I know that when I go to the market, milk is 3 cedis, it remains 3 cedis. When I go, 5 bunches of tomatoes or rice is 400 Ghana, and I can plan. We don't have to worry about whether food prices have increased or whether the household income will suffice us the period for which it has been agreed. Mr. Speaker, we were here when the previous government introduced the DDEP, and most of the people, pensioners who were affected, were women. Mr. Speaker, we saw picketing at the finance ministry. On one occasion, we saw the former Chief Justice of this country, Her Ladyship Sophia Akufu, herself, protesting the haircut that had been introduced by the previous. This is women. Women's pensions were at stake. Women's money to take care of their grandchildren, to give them the joy of life, was taken away. Today, if we can restore that and carry our children to Accra Mall to play, carry them to Efua Sutherland Park to play, take them on excursion to the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, we are very happy. And we can only commend the finance minister for making time to come here and speak to us. Mr. Speaker, the inflation that we currently have has been described as a near 3-decade record that this country has not seen. In 30 years, we've never seen this kind of. And so if we cannot celebrate this, then I don't know what we are looking for, Mr. Speaker. I want to use this opportunity once again to thank you for the opportunity to commend highly the
Honourable members, I'll proceed to give the floor to Honourable Dominic Nitiwu. You have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I'm glad that my colleague rose up and spoke on behalf of women. But I'll be glad if she can go with me tomorrow to Salaga, the capital of her constituency, to show me where the Women's Bank is located. I want to know, all of you one by one, all the NDC MPs one by one. I want you to go with me to your constituencies to show me where the Women's Bank is located. It sums up clearly how you feel about women. It sums up clearly what you think about them. It sums up clearly the intention you have about them. None of it is noble. You make lofty promises and you are not willing, Mr. Speaker, to fulfill a single one of them. I want all the NDC MPs to go with me to their constituencies to show me where the Women's Bank is located. In fact, I want you to go with me to Accra and show me where the headquarters of the Women's Bank is located. But Mr. Speaker, I hold in my hand the Bank of Ghana Monetary Policy Committee press release on 20th of May 2026. And they state that from December 2025 to February 2026, the debt stock of Ghana rose by 33 billion. December, that is January, 2 months, you increase the debt stock by 33 billion, and you come and write to us that you are managing the economy well. If this is what Akufo-Addo was doing by 8 years, you would have made the debt at over 1 trillion. Yes. Mr. Speaker, today, after all these statements, I want to find out what story will you give the nurses of this country? In fact, what are you going to tell me in 2028? Where is the automatic posting for nurses? What will you tell them? That you cannot employ them? You are not paying them? Mr. Speaker, what will you tell the teachers? Where is the automatic posting for teachers? You are not employing them, you are not paying them. Mr. Speaker, what will you tell the university students? Mr. Speaker, what will you tell them? Mr. Speaker, what will you tell the farmers of this nation, those in the north, those in the south, those in the east, and those in the west? What will you tell them? Or you don't hear the complaints of the farmers? If you come here and you are issuing these statements, you don't hear the complaints of the farmers, why didn't you talk about it? Why? Your brother, your uncle is a farmer. What are you going to tell them? Mr. Speaker, what are you going to tell the cocoa farmers? What story are you going to tell the cocoa farmers? It's clear that they are not even listening, because the cocoa farmers are weeping and saying that Mama Udiaka. And that is the truth. You promised them 6,500 cedis per ton. And today, what are you giving them? Mr. Speaker, what are you telling the cashew farmers? Go to Nkoranza, go to your chairman's hometown and talk to the cashew farmers and listen to them. Mr. Speaker, they wanted you to say something about it. Mr. Speaker, generally, what will you tell the ordinary Ghanaian? That is what I expected this statement to answer. What message are you are talking to yourselves. The figures you are measuring are to yourselves to make you happy. But the ordinary Ghanaian is not happy at all. Today, I bought a ball of kenke at 7 cedis. Yes. In fact, I can take you there. I can take you there. I promise on my honor that I can take you there. I promise you, my honor, Mr. Speaker, I can take you there. Mr. Speaker, the economy is running for only...
Honourable members, it's now the turn of Honourable Ampim. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, it is surprising that the immediate past Minister for Defense will go to Lancaster Hotel to buy Kenke and come and sit in the house to tell Ghanaians that he bought Kenke at 7 cedis. If you choose to go to Lancaster Hotel to buy Kenke, carry your own cross. Mr. Speaker, you see, this is a listening government, and we listen to Ghanaians. But what we will not take from our friends is any attempt to suggest that they are better managers of the economy than us, because they are not. The evidence is clear. It is so surprising that today, just 1.5 years, less than 1.5 years after you left office, you are finding your voices. I'm surprised. And you are inviting us to go to the street. We are taking that challenge. Let's walk out the streets of this country and ask Ghanaians how they feel today and compare to how they felt 2024. Ghanaians will testify that things are better today. Mr. Speaker, the immediate past finance minister said that the statement that Dr. Atto-Forson made about derailment of the IMF program was not true. I was surprised to hear that because, Mr. Speaker, this very IMF program that you signed up to, you committed that by the end of 2024, you will bring inflation down to 18%. You ended December 2024 inflation at 23.8%. That is 5.8 percentage points higher than the target. Is that not derailment? That QPC, quantitative measure, that you committed to, you couldn't meet it. There was also a net arrears payables of 0. You committed to ensure that arrears payables would not increase. You ended the year by increasing payables by 45 billion cedis. Is that not derailment? Mr. Speaker, there were structural benchmarks that you committed to meet. One of them was ITAS, the Integrated Tax Administration System, that you will implement by end of December. You could not meet it. It had to take hard work by this administration to implement that structural benchmark. So it was met but delayed. You promised that you will link GIFMIS to GANEPS. You could not do that by the end of December 2024. This administration came, and by dint of hard work, we have been able to implement these things. So you derailed the program, and President Mohammed's administration came to revive it, and we ended up exceeding, in fact, overperforming on all the targets that were meant to be met by the end of December 2025. Inflation overperformed. We ended the year 2025 with an inflation rate of 5.4%. Today, inflation is 3.4%. From the beginning of this year to date, we have kept inflation a single digit, and we will continue to keep inflation like that. Ghanaians can feel it. Ghanaians know the difference. 2024, every day prices of items were increasing. Today, prices are stable. So how can you ask us to go to the streets to ask Ghanaians? Ghanaians can feel it. They can see the difference. Mr. Speaker, even ECG revenue validation report that you were required to do, you failed to do it. We know that it is your excessive borrowing plus mismanagement of the economy that brought Ghana's economy onto its knees. The haircut you gave Ghanaians, pensioners, it had never happened in the history of this economy. So Ghanaians can see, they can feel it. Look, President Mahama says that he cares more about his legacy. Ghana has gone through an IMF program bailout program 17 times. Look, at the time that you were going for that 17th program, our gross international reserves could not even cover 1 month of import. Today, we have enough reserves to cover 6 months of import. Is that not the difference between us and you? Mr. Speaker, President Mahama says that what he is going to do is to make sure that we sustain the gains, the macroeconomic gains that we have. We will sustain it and make sure that it creates employment to reduce unemployment in this country. Mr. Speaker,
honourable members, I understand we have to continue the debate on Tuesday, and then leadership will wind up on Tuesday. Yes, Majority Leader, before you give me any indication, let me acknowledge the presence of steady visit by a 12-member delegation from the National Assembly of the Gambia to the Parliament of Republic of Ghana from Monday 1st to Friday 5th June 2026. Honourable members, I have the pleasure to introduce to you a 12-member delegation, as I said, from the National Assembly of the Gambia, who are here on a visit from Monday 1st to Friday 5th June 2026. The purpose of the visit is to expose the officers to the operational models and technical infrastructure of Parliament of Ghana, capacity building, and experience sharing on parliamentary best practices that will inform modernization agenda of the National Assembly of the Gambia. Our visitors are Mrs. Isatu Kasama, Director of Hansard. We have Mr. Landy Job, Director of Administration and Human Resource. We have Fatu Mariga, Principal ICT Officer. Mrs. Rabiatu Jalo, Principal Human Resource Officer. We have Miss Nde Ngoni Jean, Principal Legal Draft Person. We have Mr. Ebrima Sise, Senior ICT Officer. We have Mrs. Awakole, Editor number 2. We have Mr. Amadou Ba, Legal Officer. We have Mr. Tony F. Mendy, Principal Table Clerk. We have Mr. Ibrima Ba, Principal Communications. We have Mr. Bakari Kamara, Senior Electrician. We have Mrs. Binta Dafe, Senior Librarian. Honourable members, on your behalf and on behalf of the House, I welcome the delegation to Parliament and I wish them fruitful deliberations and safe journey to the smiling coast of Africa. You are welcome. Yes, Majority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, let me thank colleagues who have made comments so far. we will proceed to consideration of the community service bill. The chairman and his team are ready. I've engaged with my colleagues on the other side, and we agree that we can take from clause 14 to 21, 14 to 21, and then we can adjourn so that the chamber will be available for the clerk and his team to continue their preparations towards the conference tomorrow.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, it's so that we are on our understanding that we should start from the consideration stage of the community service bill, clause 14 to 21, and nothing more than that. Majority Leader, we don't want it to be a case that we'll start to a certain point that you want us to rush through the bill to pass it. When we get to clause 21, that is what we agreed on. Thank you. So, Mr. Speaker, we can do the consideration stage of the community service bill.
Honourable members, Community Service Bill 2026 at consideration stage.
Yes, clerk. Clerk. The title, read. Yeah. Mr. Speaker.
Honourable members, clause 14.
Establishment of a regional community service committee.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, clause 14, amendment proposed. Subclause 2, paragraphs A to I. Delete and insert the following new paragraphs. Mr. Speaker, I would invoke Order 171D and not read the proposed amendment since the amendment exceeds 4 lines.
Honourable members, the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is as captured at page 13 and 14 of today's order paper. It is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? All members, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee, say aye. Those against, say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Yes, Chairman? Aye. Clause 14.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, subclause 3, delete and insert the following. 3, the regional commander of prisons shall nominate a prisons officer not below the rank of a chief superintendent of prisons as the regional coordinator of the secretariat.
Mr. Speaker, the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? Yes.
Mr. Speaker, thank you. Mr. Speaker, on page 13 of the order paper, concerning the representative of the regional commander of prisons, we have it there not below the rank of a superintendent. But in his proposal as read, he indicated chief superintendent. I want to be sure exactly the rank he's referring to, since I didn't see chief superintendent here.
Yes, chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, in the proposed amendment, we have Chief Superintendent of Prisons. And here, what we are saying is that the regional commander shall nominate an officer not below the rank of Chief Superintendent of Prisons who would serve as the regional coordinator of the Community Service Secretariat.
You see, the point that the honourable member is saying is that at page 13, if you look at the item numbered B, the regional commander of prisons or representative of the regional commander of prison, not below the rank of a superintendent, is that person going to be the chairman, or he will remain a member of the board, and by the new proposed amendment, they appoint a chief superintendent as the chairperson?
Mr. Speaker, the chief superintendent under the proposed amendment is to be appointed, nominated by the regional commander, and once nominated, he or she would serve as coordinator. This amendment seeks to replace the original rendition, which placed the social welfare officer as the
So is it the
the
case
rationale is simple,
that
Mr.
the
Speaker.
representative
Yes.
of the regional commander in B is going to be the one appointed as the coordinator, or that person will be there and another person will be appointed from the prison service as a coordinator? If it is one and the same person, one cannot be superintendent and the other one will be chief superintendent. That's the point being raised.
Mr. Speaker, the coordinator is an officer who would be nominated by the regional commander. And we introduced this amendment because we believe that community service relates to convicts, and the appropriate state institution which must handle convicts.
So at the
is
regional level,
prison
there will be
service.
2 people from the
Yes,
prison service?
Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I want to find out from the chairman of the committee why he's given the rank of Chief Superintendent of Prisons as the regional coordinator for the Secretariat, considering the fact that probably if you put Chief Superintendents, maybe there are other senior officers who are below that rank but can perform that function. Because if you look at clause 14D, the Attorney General representative, they have given a senior state attorney. If it is the case that in the prison service, they can also have something like a senior prison officer. That, rather than saying chief superintendent, I don't know why you use the word chief superintendent, that
Please,
title.
the ranking at the prison service is not coterminous with that of Attorney General's department. There are 2 different things.
Mr. Speaker, but why chief superintendent? Why not superintendent?
Mr. Speaker, we settled on chief superintendent because we believe at that rank, the officer in terms of seniority is very competent enough to occupy the position of regional coordinator. And in doing this, we had broad consultations with officers from the prison service, including the Director General herself. And it was agreed generally that at that level, they are very capable of discharging the functions of the regional coordinator.
You see, the point is that in B, B is going to be a representative of the regional commander of prisons, not below the rank of deputy superintendent of prisons, nominated by the regional commander. What we want to understand is that, is this person going to be the coordinator, or there will be 2 prison officers serving on the committee?
Mr. Speaker, there are two officers. And again, let me state that the rationale for the designation of 2 prison officers is to place the prison service at the center of the management of convicts ordered to serve community service or perform community service, because statutorily or constitutionally, it is that service which has the mandate to manage convicts. Previously, we sought to place this responsibility on social welfare officers, but then we came to the realization that no, that would be a mistake, because we already have the prison service charged with that responsibility. We don't want to take that responsibility away from them. So you find that if you look at the bill in its original form, the coordinator was supposed to be a social. Yes, so it's an addition, Mr. Speaker.
Very well.
It's an addition.
Yes, so if it is an addition, it means one will be the superintendent representing, another coordinator will be chief superintendent.
Mr. Speaker, not to belabor the point, but the issue is that a chief superintendent is higher in rank than the superintendent.
Yes.
So if you set a supervisory board or regional directorate, and then the representative from the prison service is to be not below the rank of a superintendent, and then you go back and set a coordinator whose rank is at the chief superintendent level, then it means that the chief superintendent, who is higher in rank than the superintendent, he will be reporting his matters to a lower person.
It means that the chief superintendent will be the coordinator. The position of the coordinator is higher than a committee member. So, honourable members, in the absence of any further proposal, I'll put a question. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is ordered to stand part of the bill. Honourable members, though we have passed this, I want to say that it may create a problem in the sense that the rendition is the regional commander of prisons or a representative. It means that it gives an option for the regional commander to be there. So how can a regional commander be there and the chief superintendent will be a coordinator?
Mr.
That
Speaker,
is what we have to look at.
Mr. Speaker, if you look at 14, we came to the consensus at the level of the committee that we actually do not want to place too much responsibility at the national level. The original rendition was that the Director General would nominate, the Attorney General would nominate. But here we are talking about the decentralized structure of, for instance, the prison service. So rather than place the responsibility on the Director General, let the regional commander nominate an officer to serve in that capacity and report back
Yes, I agree perfectly with you. But that is not what is captured in B. The B, there is a disjunctive word here. The regional commander of prisons or a representative of the regional commander of prisons. So this one, it gives an option for the regional commander himself to decide to be there. If the rendition were simply a representative of the regional commander, then we know there is no option for the regional commander trying to be there.
Sorry, if I may read the insertion. 14 II. The regional commander of prisons shall nominate a prisons officer not below the rank of a chief superintendent of prisons as a regional coordinator of the secretariat.
Look at the first one that we did. The first one, the first amendment in 14.1.
14.1.
Yes, look at B.
So B. Okay, sorry. The regional commander of prisons or a representative of the regional commander of prisons.
Yes, not below the rank
of a superintendent of prisons.
Do you agree with me? This gives an option to the regional commander to be there?
Yes.
So if he gives an option to the regional commander to be there,
yes.
The concern is we are now saying in the second amendment that we are making that though he has an option to be there, even when he is there, chief superintendent will be a coordinator.
Mr. Speaker, we have this arrangement because we know the responsibilities of the regional commander is onerous. And so if you create the scenario whereby the regional commander serves as coordinator, it will be burdensome.
But
that is why we're saying that
he can serve as a member of the committee.
Yes, he can serve as a member, all right. But because the coordinator would perform functions on a day-to-day basis.
Very well. It's for clarity. If that is what the House wants, I will then put a question on entire clause 14. In the absence of any further proposed amendments, the question is as many as are in favor of clause 14 as variously amended, standing part of the bill, say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 14 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 15.
Tenure of office of members of a regional community service committee.
Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, we don't have any advertised amendments.
Honourable members, the committee doesn't have advertised amendment. It is, however, for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, any proposed amendment? I'll put a question. Those in favor of clause 15 standing part of the bill say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 15 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 16.
Functions of a regional community service committee.
Chairman of the committee, amendment II.
Amendment proposed, paragraph B, delete and insert the following. Coordinate and supervise the activities of district community service committees in the region.
Honourable members, the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? In the absence of any further amendment, I will please put the question. Those in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now the question will be put on clause 16 as amended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 16 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 17. Chairman of the committee,
establishment of a
amendment
district
number
community service committee.
Amendment proposed, subclause 2, delete and insert the following. And Mr. Speaker, I come under order 171D.
Members, the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is captured by page 15. And partly K is at page 16 of today's order paper. It is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? I'll put a question. Those in favor of the proposed amendment say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Yes, 17. Amendment numbered 5.
Amendment proposed, subclause 3, delete and insert the following. The regional commander of prisons shall nominate a prisons officer not below the rank of a deputy superintendent of prisons as the district coordinator of the secretariat. Mr. Speaker, the rationale is simple. The prison service is the state institution responsible for the management of convicts. Again, you notice that at the district level, the rank is lower. We have deputy superintendent, and at the regional level, we have chief superintendent. Thank you.
Honourable members, the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? In the absence of any other amendment, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is ordered to stand part of the bill. Chairman, amendment number 6 to clause 17.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, sub-clause 3, delete and insert the regional minister shall, in consultation with the relevant district chief executive, appoint the members of the district community service, the district community service community. This places the committee, Mr. Speaker, with your kind permission, I would move that community as captured in the order paper be substituted with committee.
Yes, honourable members, the proposed amendment, which was further amended by changing the last word, community to committee, is for the consideration of the House. Yes.
Thank you, Right Honourable Speaker. I rise to support the amendment. The variation proposed, I suppose it might have been a typo because the actual word is committee. And we're saying that the regional minister is the official that we are trusting that mandate of appointment into his hands. However, since the committee will relate to the jurisdiction of MMDCs, municipalities and districts, he needs to consult the MMDC in charge. And so the further amendment I'll propose to that is that instead of district chief executive, MMDC, unless of course the interpretation has taken care of it. If the interpretation has taken care of it, then I rest it. So,
yes. So I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now I'll put a question on entire clause 17 as variously amended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 17 as variously amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 18.
Tenure of office of members of a district community service committee.
You may move amendment number 7.
Clause 18, amendment proposed, subclause 3, line 2, after regional, delete coordinator and insert minister. Here, Mr. Speaker, the insertion is proper because the minister is the appointing authority. Thank you.
Very well. Honourable members, is for the consideration of the House. Any other amendment? Any proposal? I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee say aye. As many as are in favor of the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Honourable members, the background noise is too much. Honourable members, the background noise is too much. Yes, Chairman of the Committee, amendment number 8.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, subclause 5, line 1, after regional, delete coordinator and insert minister. This is consequential. Thank you.
Member, this is consequential. I'll therefore put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The consequential amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Yes, Chairman of the Committee.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, subclause 7, closing phrase, line 1, after regional, delete coordinator and insert minister. Again, this is consequential, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Yes, this being consequential, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee to clause 18 is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now I'll put a question on the entire clause 18 as variously amended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 18 as variously amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 19.
Functions of a district community service committee.
Chairman, amendment number 10.
Mr. Speaker, amendment proposed, paragraph F, line 1, delete probation and insert community service.
Honourable members, the proposed amendment is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? In the absence of any further amendment, I'll put a question. Those in favor of the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Chairman, amendment numbered 11.
Mr. Speaker, this amendment stands
Very well.
in the name
Very
of the
well.
majority,
This is a new
minority
clause
leader.
standing in the name of the minority leader, Osahin Alexander Kwamina Aponyo Makin. You have the floor.
Speaker, clause 40. Sorry. So, Speaker, bear with me a second. So, Speaker, please, I'm dealing with clause 19, page 17. So, Speaker, clause 19, amendment proposed. Add the following new paragraph. Establish and maintain a register of placement institutions within the district, including capacity, nature of work available, and any conditions or restrictions applicable to each institution, and submit updated copies of the register to the regional coordinator on quarterly basis. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
The proposed amendment by the minority leader is for the consideration of the House. Yes, Chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, it seems to me that the proposed amendment by the minority leader has already been provided for under clause A. And clause A of clause 19A and G, if you read them together, A reads as follows: identify placement institutions in the district for placement of convicted persons. Now, the proposed amendment says establish and maintain a register of placement institutions within the district. So it's already catered for. Now, the part that deals with updated copies of the register to the regional coordinator on a quarterly basis, for me, is the only difference, because under G, we have submit monthly reports to the regional coordinator monthly, but he talks about quarterly. So maybe we can amend the G if he's able to justify why those registers should be submitted to the coordinator on a quarterly basis. We could substitute monthly with quarterly.
This one say.
Speaker, if you look at the A, the rendition there is quite naked. It only talks about identify placement institutions in the district for placement of convicted person. What I'm proposing is an enrichment to what you have in A. So maybe we can have a compromise to enrich the rendition in A and then further amend the G to make it quarterly. Okay, so the new rendition for A, if you would indulge me, will be that to establish and maintain a register of placement institutions within the district, including the capacity, nature of work available, and any conditions or restrictions available to each institution and to each institution, full stop. Each institution, yeah, full stop. We ended there for the rendition for A. That is having enriched the earlier provision. Then, on the issue of the register, the reporting, which is instead of the monthly, I was thinking that we should be, yes, it should be quarterly. So then we come to G and simply amend the monthly to quarterly. Then we have a very enriched law. So you may then, yes, talk to Speaker on it. So,
Mr. Speaker, yes, if we arrange
minority that
the amendment,
in the circumstances, I would advise that you abandon your amendment and rather propose amendment to A and G.
Speaker, in substance, basically that's the point I made earlier. But just for clarity, that's exactly what I'm doing.
Very well.
Yes.
So the proposed amendment by the minority leader to 19, new clause, is accordingly abandoned. Then let's take the amendment one after the other in 19A. After that, we take 19G so that I can put the question separately.
Right. So, Mr. Speaker, as agreed with the committee chair, the new rendition of 19A as proposed would be, quote, to establish and maintain a register of placement institutions within the district, including the capacity, nature of work available, and any conditions or restrictions applicable to each institution, full stop.
I'll put a question. As many as are in favor, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now, the G.
Respectfully, Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that after submit, we delete monthly and insert quarterly. So the new rendition for G shall resubmit quarterly reports to the regional coordinator.
As many as are in favor, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Honourable members, I understand in A, we cannot abandon the word identify. So I'll direct the drafters to take care of it accordingly for us.
Mr. Speaker, we can deal with it now.
Very well.
Yes, so it starts with identify, establish, and maintain. So that's fine.
Very well. So drafters, it's been proposed, so you take care of it. Or I should put a question on the further proposal. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment now to A is ordered to stand part of the bill. Honourable members, I will then proceed to put a question on entire clause 19 as variously amended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 19 as variously amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 20.
Meetings of a district community service committee.
Amendment proposed, subclause 4, line 2. After committee, delete shall include the chairperson and insert as 5 members.
Members, the proposed amendment is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? Those in favor of the proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is ordered to stand part of the bill. I will then put a question on clause 20 in the absence of any further amendment to clause 20. As many as are in favor of clause 20 as amended, standing part of the bill, say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. Clause 20 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now clause 21.
National coordinator.
Amendment proposed, subclause 3, line 2. After off, insert high moral character and.
Honourable members, that's the proposed amendment to clause 21, and it is for the consideration of the House. Any further amendment? In the absence of any further amendment, I'll put a question to the proposed amendment. Yes? I'll put a question to the proposed amendment. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment by the chairman of the committee is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now I'll put a question on the entire clause 20. Yes, I recognize you, chairman of the committee.
Mr. Speaker, still on, is it 20 or 21? 21, sorry. Still on 21, Mr. Speaker.
Yes.
I propose a further amendment with your leave because this is not advertised.
Yes, you have my leave. Do.
So subclause 3, line 3. After work, delete and insert or. The rationale is to make the sentence disjunctive. Subclause 3.
By the amendment that you are proposing, if the person has a proven integrity but does not have the requisite knowledge, he can go through. I don't think the amendment is proper. It must be conjunctive. You must have the requisite knowledge and you must be of a proven integrity. The two must be put together to qualify you. Yes.
Speaker, perhaps we may have to pay attention to the chairman's amendment well. He is disjointing social work and criminal justice system experience. So he's asking that we delete the end and replace it with or, so that the requisite knowledge or expertise could either be in social work or in the criminal justice system. These are two different things. And I believe that he's right in disjointing it. Otherwise, it becomes cumbersome that you need both at the same time before you qualify. So we may have to pay attention to the rendition well. The requirement for knowledge and expertise is qualified by either.
It's not after integrity. So it's after social work that he's introducing the amendment.
Said line 3, clause 3, line 3.
Very well.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes. Line 3, clause 3. And if you read line 3, clause 3, this is what it says. Proving integrity and has the requisite knowledge and expertise in social work and the criminal justice system. He is disjointing it.
Very well.
By introducing
it's
the
now clear. I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the proposed amendment, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Now, I'll put a question on entire clause 21 as variously amended. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. Honourable members, the ayes have it. The proposed amendment is ordered to stand part of the bill. Majority Leader, before coming to you for any indication, I crave the indulgence of the House to acknowledge the presence of our revered chiefs in our midst. They are delegation from Ekumfi Traditional Council to Parliament. Number 1 on my list is Nana Dr. Okumani Yedria Ansa the First. 2, Nana Oche Koku Nyeku the 7th. Ekumfi Sumankwahini or Srafa Overlord. We also have Nana Esel Asamanfo Obuedum the 7th. Ekumfi Pristier, Chief of Esachre. We have Nana Obise Okanta the 4th. Ekumfi Jasahini Ibrahim. We have Nana Kwa Esa Okufu Ya the 1st. Ekumfi Guantuahini or Guantuahini. We have Nana Jaben the 8th. Ekumfi Nimfahini, Chief of Ekrafo. We have Nana Ko Okufu Jesse the 5th. Ekumfi Sanahini, Chief of Ekumfi Nanabin. We have Ochami Mantiao Mentauho Ekumfi Ochami Hin. We have Nana Esi Ninsi Ekumfi Nyimfahima, Queen Mother of Ekumfi Ikrafo. Then we have Nana Apia the 7th. Ekumfi Bantan or Ekumfi Edumaje. We have Nana Imprem the 8th, Ekumfi Chwafuhin Eyinsam. We have Ohima Ajwa Amoa the 2nd, Srafa Abuano. We have Honorable Ishmael Nana Asamoah, District Chief Executive. We have Alhaji Joseph Antobam, Constituency Chairman, NDC Party. We have Edward Akwa, Constituency Secretary, NDC Party. Honorable members, on your behalf, I welcome our revered chiefs to Parliament of Ghana and humbly urge them to have a fruitful visit. Nananum, you are most welcome. Yes, Majority Leader.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, I think you are yet to take the final sub-clause of 21.
But there's no final clause to 21. This is a new clause after clause 22.
A new clause you want to add?
After clause 22.
No, but we said we'll stop at 21. Oh, it's a new sub-clause.
But this new sub-clause is after clause 22.
We agreed on 21. Okay, so, Mr. Speaker, I don't think we have done 5 hours yet. So I move that we adjourn until Tuesday, 12 o'clock in the noon. Tuesday.
Tuesday is what date? It's what date? Honourable members, in the circumstances, we bring the consideration stage of the Community Service Bill for today to an end. Tuesday is what date? 9. Honourable members, motion move for adjournment. Any seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Honourable members, motion moved and seconded. It is for the consideration of the House. Honourable members, I'll put a question. As many as are in favor of the motion for adjournment, say aye. Those against, say no. The ayes have it. The motion is adopted, and that this House is accordingly adjourned till Tuesday, the 9th day of June 2026 at 12 o'clock in the noon.